Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Monday. I have another awesome quality story from my audience. So let's get into it. So, this is going back years ago, probably 10 years ago. I was a little kid. So, it was on a long weekend. And my one parent wanted to take us out on a trip to a trailer place where her friends hang out on the long weekend. So it was a long weekend. It was like I think it was like a 3 or 4 day weekend. So so we got to drive from my parents' friend, drive out there. It was like it wasn't too long, but it was like a half an hour or something. It was like a trailer place, and they have a trailer up there, and they hang up there all the time. So we got there. They had a nice trailer. Well, I mean, it was like basic trailer. It was nothing fancy. It was like a basic trailer, like a basic bedroom. Like you have the TV, you have the two couches, you have the pull out bed. You got the driver spot and all that stuff. But it was really cool. And when we got there, um, we had to sleep in a tent with waterproof sheets on top of the tent. Um, yeah, and there was another, and then my parents' friend ended up sleeping in the car. Well, we at nighttime we had a nice fire. Through the day, everyone hangs out, has a nice fire, listens to music, or the kids would basically hang out at the park. We hung out at the park. There was a really nice park. We'd walk around, maybe bike ride, all that fun kid stuff. We did all that. Um, you know, uh, and then, breakfast time, we'd have like eggs and bacon and stuff. We'd cook it. Um, you know, or we just hang out, and talk with the family, stuff like that. It was pretty cool, pretty cool. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I remember we did go fishing too. There was a nice pond where we all went fishing. They had a decent sized boat. Not everyone could go on, so we had to take turns. But it was a really cool experience on a boat. It was a pretty nice boat. It was like actually surprisingly, it looked like it was like a expensive boat. It was one of those big boats, like not huge boat like Titanic boat, but like big enough that there was like a basement in the boat where you could see underwater type boat. Then you have the top shore type thing. It was a smaller version boat, but it was a really cool boat. And we went out there. We went a little bit out. We hung out, just sat on the chair and stuff. It was a really cool experience. It's pretty cool. Plus, I find with the windows in the boat, they're a lot stronger, and I guess it makes sense. They have to be a lot stronger. They're like 2 or 3 layer glass. It was pretty cool. We fished for a couple hours, then we came back, then we had to walk 10 minutes back to the camp place. It was a really awesome experience for me. I did enjoy and then at nighttime we end up having s'mores and stuff like that. S'mores, you know, um, s'mores, hot chocolate, stuff like that, because that's what they had. Stuff like that. Cook, or they were cooking hot dogs, stuff like that, food and stuff on the fire, letting it sit there. It was really cool. You know, Either that or you could hang out in your tent type area, or you could go play at the park. Those were basically our options. Could run around, zoom, do basically whatever you want. Parents were easygoing. But there was one particular time where one of my parents' friends, so they were listening to music really loud. They were having a good time, and I'm sitting there as a little kid thinking, "Oh, I'm surprised this is loud," because the music was loud. Like they had two big speakers cranking music, having a fun time. Um, yeah, so it was pretty cool. So there was one person at the trailer park that complained about the loud music, and we didn't know about it. So the camp guy came over. The owner of the camp place came over and said, um, "How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good." He just came over and introduced himself and stuff like that. because they I guess the camp person noticed that they had friends over or something. So yeah, so came over, introduced themselves, said my name's this, that, if you have any problems, let me know. Just to let you know, somebody came over and were complaining about the loud music, but I told them you're allowed to have loud music. You're allowed to have fun. You're camping. I'm cool with it, stuff like that. Then he left. Then one of my parents' friends thought it was cool after he left to shoot off a firework. So, everyone's sitting there just having a fire. It was basically somewhat loud music, just everyone sitting there. The boss um like caught us off guard. So what ended up happening is that everyone was sitting around the fire, just enjoying it, having s'mores and whatever. The loud music, listening, just having a good time, laughing and giggling, grown ups being grown ups, stuff like that. And next the camp owner comes over and says he was kind of mad. He's like, "Who shot the firework? Um, somebody said it came from over here. You can't shoot fireworks. If you do that again, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. I understand you're having a fun time. You're allowed to listen to loud music. You're allowed to do that stuff. Just can't shoot fireworks. There's other. It's too much of a problem. If you were at least gonna fire them, you should have fired it in the field or something, because if you fired it in the field, they wouldn't have really of an issue, and I wouldn't be over here, because it could start fires. It could start a big something could burn or something, or and they're like, okay, and the people apologized and said sorry. Okay, if I have to come back over here, it's gonna suck, but I'm gonna have to ask all of you guys to leave. You're gonna have to leave. And they're like, no problem, you won't have any problem, sorry about that. And he walked away really mad. And then basically the rest of the night, just sitting there at fire, chilling until like 12 o'clock. And then slowly everyone started going to bed. People started leaving. They left the fire on its own, because the fire will go out itself. Everyone went to bed. Then it was the next day, and I guess nobody get to sleep in because it was raining. You could hear the rain, and there was a certain spot in the tent where it was leaking, but everything was okay. Everyone was up early. Everyone's ready to leave to go back to normal. The long weekend's over. It's back to schedule where everyone goes back to school and stuff, work, stuff like that. So we had to get up and get going. My parent had a driver, a friend that came with her and us, and so she had a driver, and so it took him a while to get up. My parent my parent woke the friend up and said, "Wakey, wakey," and he didn't want to get up. She literally had to ask him like 3 or 4 times to get up. He eventually got up, and then once he got up, he got get going. He got get going, got ready, got what he needed to, packed up everything, and then we were on the road back to our place. So, we had to unpack the car, food, you know, the cooler and all that stuff, to get back to reality, Then we said thank you, and then he said thank you. It was an awesome weekend. I hope you guys had a good time. We said, yeah, we did. You too. And then they said, have a good day. And then told my mom, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. Maybe today or maybe tomorrow. Something like that. And it was like pretty cool. It was a pretty cool weekend. And, then we had to go in. We had to unpack everything. We had a bunch of laundry we had to throw in the laundry. We did laundry. And then we had to get our lunches ready. And had to get our alarms set for the next day to wake up early, like stuff like that, maybe taking a shower. All of us took a shower, I took a shower first, then my brother took a shower after me, and then my parent took a shower after us. So we were all clean, you know, because tomorrow is an early day, and even though it was like 2 3 days, we're used to just doing whatever. Well, when it gets back to reality, you have a schedule to stick to. So yeah, thank you for everyone for listening to my story. I hope my audience can relate to my story in some sort of way. I really appreciate it. I work very hard on my videos every day for everyone on YouTube. High quality videos, awesome story. I hope everyone has a good day. I hope everyone takes it easy today, has a good day, and lives life to the fullest. I will see you tomorrow with another awesome quality video. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, and bye.